Assemblyman Wright, thanks very much for your time.
My pleasure.
I want to talk to you, you're the Labor Committee Chairman of the Assembly. I want to talk to you in general terms about the relationship of the labor community and the Democratic Party in general in New York. I mean, that's a traditional alliance, right? But then we saw the governor go very hard against public employee unions particularly, but he's also at war with the teachers, and they're not very happy with him, and you know, there are smaller unions that are not happy with him. Doesn't he need these guys? I mean, can this marriage be fixed?
Well, sure, absolutely. Let me just say this. It is a natural sort of alliance. There is a natural sort of alliance between the Democratic Party and organized labor. It always has been, always will be, as far as I'm concerned. Any governor will probably have some problems with organized labor, especially this year. You have to remember that the governor has to make some very, very hard decisions. We are in the worst fiscal crisis we've ever been in. Hugh Carey, I think, had to make some of the same sort of decisions back in 1975.
He did. When
we were in another fiscal crisis, when then President Ford told New York City to drop dead.
Which never happened.
Which never happened,
okay.
Of course, but that was the headline.
Yes, I know.
That was the headline, and that's what people remember.
It is.
And so any governor, especially in a time of fiscal crisis such as we're having right now, will probably have some sort of contentious relationships with organized labor. The governor, has to make some very, very hard decisions fiscally, and that's what he has been doing. To his credit, he has been doing. But I think once we get over this fiscal hump, if we will, this fiscal crisis, hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and as you say, we'll have a happy marriage all over again.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. The best thing that you can hope for is that, if you broaden it out and look at the national level, that Barack Obama, who not all unions are thrilled with him, particularly, for example, in South Carolina, which is not a right-to-work state, and so, that's where the Democratic National Convention is being held. There are some
Actually,
AFL,
it's in North Carolina.
In North Carolina. Pardon me. But some AFL affiliated unions are not going because they're unhappy. Their option is what? Michelle Bachmann?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I'm just saying that you're basically saying the best thing that could happen for the Democrats is the Republicans at this point, because they're so dramatically to the right.
Well, the relationship between labor and the Democratic Party, just like any relationship, whether it's between a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman, and a man and a man, especially in New York State, it's going to have its ups and downs. And that's good, because I think that will make the relationship that much stronger. Will everybody be happy all the time? I don't think so, but at the end of the day, when we see alternatives and when there's more money coming in, especially into the state of New York, I think everybody will be a little happier and cooler heads will prevail.
Was it difficult for the legislature, for you in the legislature, to vote on the CSEA contract? And we haven't seen the PEF contract results, and we're still awaiting at this moment the CSEA contract results. Was it hard for you to vote yes, knowing that there were segments of the labor community that was not thrilled with that?
Well, of course, we always
contract?
weigh the alternatives when we're looking at any piece of legislation. And yes, it was difficult, because we have been, usually backers of organized labor. But you have to remember that these are some perilous fiscal times that we have been in. I mean, I don't think in my memory, in my legislative history at all, I don't think I've ever remembered these times being this tough at all. So yes, it was somewhat difficult, but we have to always keep in mind that we have to put the good of the state before anything else.
But it also wasn't something that you contemplated. I mean, this came up, the CSEA contract came up right at the end of the legislative session, when at the same time the Senate was jockeying and trying to figure out what they were going to do with gay marriage. It was never something that you contemplated voting down.
No, that discussion never happened. But did we talk about it? Sure, we did. But it was at the end of the legislative session, and it was a very serious piece of legislation, because we do always try and weigh the political ramifications of whatever bill we're voting on.
When you had that internal discussion, did members of your conference, and I know that they had tried to push the millionaire's tax and try to get the governor to extend the millionaire's tax, which was something that he insisted that he would not do. The speaker has said that it's not dead. Do you envision that, was that something that came up, A, and do you envision that, because it's something the unions wanted, to
That's what's
assuage
not
the
dead,
cuts,
the millionaire's
tax, and that you will try again next year with that?
We fought, especially during this this last budget period, when we had a $10 billion budget deficit. And certainly we in the legislature, I think on both sides, wanted to help plug that revenue gap.
Even some Senate Republicans.
Even some
actually.
Senate Republicans
Yeah.
wanted it, because we thought it would be a good idea and it would help ease the burden of the deficit. But the governor adamantly did not want the millionaire's tax. It was dead upon arrival, even if we had voted for it. Will we try again next year? I bet we will, because I'm sure we're going to see another big budget deficit, the likes of which we saw just the previous year. And I know I will be pushing for it, and I'm sure others will.
Do you think you'll have a better reception from the executive branch at this point, because the governor has already lived up to his campaign promise and said no new taxes in this budget? He lived up to that one, so now you're going forward to a new budget.
Don't know what the reception will be. I would hope that it will be a better reception. It's a different time, different place, and he did what he said he was going to do in the first year of his being governor. But we will see. So now we're in the second year, but we're still in this fiscal crisis. So we have to do and put our heads together and do what we think is best for the state of New York.
Will it be harder, do you think, for him to wrangle a deal from you guys at a time when you're all running for re-election under new lines, which is a whole different situation? First, you're going to have a fight over the lines and redistricting. Then you're going to have a fight over a budget at a time when all you want to do is get back and run. And P.S., the primaries in June.
The primary is probably going to be in June this year.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, every legislative year is totally different.
Right.
Yes, we have a lot of issues on our plate coming up this upcoming legislative session. Yes, we are running for re-election, and sometimes things do change, especially when the legislature is up for re-election. So we will see, and hopefully we can get it done in as calmly a method as possible.
Okay, well, we shall see. In the meantime, Assemblyman Wright, it's good to see you. And
Thank
it's good
you.
to see you in Albany, where we don't
Thank
often
you.
see you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.